Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing my wrap up of the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. This happened on the 29th till the 30th of April and I had loads of fun doing it and I did get a lot of reading done, so I just want to tell you now what I got read. So the first book I got read in the readathon was one I'd already started but I finished during the readathon, and that was The Stuff of Nightmares by Mallory Blackman. This is about a boy called Kyle and he goes on a school trip on a train, but they end up having a train crash. And this is kind of hard to explain, but it leads Kyle into be able to get into other people's nightmares. So while they're unconscious, he can actually go into their heads and know what nightmares they're having. It's all a bit strange, but he gets to know about other people's fears, and it kind of makes him feel that he's not alone, he's not the only one with fears. I thought this book was really gripping actually. It was quite a page turner, this one. I really enjoyed it. And I loved the settings during the nightmares, so when we were finding out about all of the other people's nightmares, the settings during these were really vivid and I could picture them really well. And this also let me find out a lot more about these side characters as well, because we don't really get to find out about them like directly in the story, but during the nightmares we do get to find out a lot more about them. I found the chapters where the nightmares were being talked about really like enticing and exciting, and that kept me gripped. I loved the idea of the plot because it was very different, and I loved how it was laid out during the book as well. So we kind of had Kyle's chapter and then a nightmare and then Kyle's chapter and then another nightmare, so it was really good the way it was laid out and it was really clear as well. So I never really found myself getting lost. However, I wasn't sure about the ending. I found it a bit abrupt and I kind of wanted it to end in a different way. I obviously don't want to tell you what the ending is and I don't want to tell you how I wanted it to end because that would just spoil it. But yeah, I was a bit funny about the ending, but I don't know, I'm not sure. Although I didn't like the ending as much, I did think the build-ups to everything were really strong and really exciting. But one other thing I wasn't so happy with is I didn't feel attached to any of the characters at all, and that makes me really sad because I loved getting attached to characters. But overall I did really enjoy this book and I give it 4 out of 5 stars because it kept me gripped and I kept wanting to find out more, so I kind of had to give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read during the readathon was 5 Go Gluten Free by Enid Blyton. I couldn't get my words out there. And this is about the famous 5 who decide to try out a gluten-free diet. And this is because Anne ended up getting a book for her birthday that had lots of gluten-free recipes in it. So they decide to go gluten-free anyway, see what it's like. I am gluten-free, but not as a choice. I'm gluten-free medically, so I really related to these characters in this book with the gluten-free diet, and it was really funny to read about because how they coped with it, or didn't cope with it, as the case might be, was really funny and I could really relate to that. And I found it really funny that they were trying to sneak food in that did contain gluten everywhere they could without telling each other, because honestly I do that and I'm medically not supposed to, and I even still do that. I'm not allergic to gluten, by the way. I've just got an intolerance, so I don't like hospitalise myself or anything like that by having like a biscuit or something. I just get a bit of a funny tummy, but apart from that it's fine. I really loved the friendship between these 5 characters because you could really tell that they were so close, even though they really annoyed each other sometimes, but that was really funny to read about. But the support they gave each other throughout their sort of journey and their adventure during this was really, really nice to read about. I love Enid Blyton's writing, and I read a lot of Enid Blyton when I was a child and obviously read all of her children's books and things, and I loved that. But I thought this was going to be completely different, obviously with it being an adult book. And it was. Her adult writing is still really, really good. But I did see snippets of her sort of child fiction writing in it as well. Every now and again it just sort of snuck in. But I really liked that because it kind of brought back my childhood and what I enjoyed reading when I was a child as well. And bringing back these characters in that kind of light as well. I would have really loved to read more about Timmy the dog, because in the children's books you tend to read quite a lot about Timmy, whereas in this you didn't really read much about him. Like, you heard about him every now and again, but he wasn't really one of the main characters, I'd say. Even though he was part of the 5, I'd say he was more of a side character, but I still really enjoyed the book anyway, and I still give it 4 out of 5 stars. I did find it really funny to read about, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. The next book I read was Kelp by Linda Aronson, and this is about a girl called Emily who lives on an island with her family, and they have a seaweed business, but Emily is really not interested in this business at all. She wants a more glamorous life, put it that way. Now, I found this story really easy to follow, however there wasn't much story to it. Not a lot happens. I was kind of waiting for stuff to happen and it just didn't. And I felt like the story was dragging a lot as well, and it sort of was repeating itself in ways, which is kind of a bit pointless because we already know about something, you don't need to keep repeating it. And although I found Emily's character quite funny because she was quite a humorous character, I also found her really annoying, so it was kind of that mix of I like her, but I kind of hate her at the same time. It was just silly things, like she was swooning over her second cousin because he was attractive, according to her, but he was so much older than her and he was still married. And I was like, no, stop it. No, don't do that. I just didn't find the story that believable, and I kind of got bored and I just wasn't into it at all. But I do think this is a story of its time. This is a much older book, and I think if we read it back when it was published, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. I did read it years and years ago, and I think I remember enjoying it then, so maybe it's just because times have changed now, my reading tastes have changed. That's probably all it is, because I think I do remember liking it when I first read it. But oh well, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I only give this 2 stars because there just wasn't much to it. And the final book I started during the readathon but didn't actually finish, but I did finish it after the readathon, was the BFG by Roald Dahl. And this is, obviously, we all know what the BFG is about. It's the big friendly giant. He lives in giant country with all of the other giants, apart from those giants are really horrible and they go out and eat people. Whereas the BFG is the big friendly giant, so he doesn't do that. He actually just eats snozcumbers, as he calls them, and these are horrible. But what the BFG does do is he goes out during the night and delivers dreams to children to help them sleep. And during one of these nights he ends up spotting a little girl in a window called Sophie, and he knows that she has seen him. So because Sophie is probably going to go out and tell everyone, and obviously humans don't know about giants, she ends up going to giant country with him because he ends up taking her there. Now obviously when Sophie gets there, she doesn't believe anything what's going on. She kind of thinks she's still in a dream. She doesn't quite understand what's going on, but given her a bit of time, she starts learning about the BFG and the other giants and what they're doing, and wants to help stop the giants from eating people. So she comes up with this plan, and I don't really want to tell you what the plan is, but let's just say it involves the Queen. And it is really funny. I'll talk about this one more in my March and April wrap up, as I'm going to do a joint one because I didn't do one for March. So I'm not going to say much about this one, but I did really enjoy it, and I will talk about it more then. So that is it for my wrap up of the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I really enjoyed it. If you joined in with it, I hope you did really well. I'm really happy with how I did, and it's definitely a readathon I want to join in again with in the future. That's it for now anyway. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. All of my social media links are down in the comments below, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!